So hello and welcome back to New Zealand. And first of all, before I get into this video, I just wanted to say a quick thank you for the sort of response I had to last week's video. If anyone hasn't seen that video, I'll put a link to it up here. And I basically just talked a little bit more about the deeper meaning of photography and how it sort of affected me as a person. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for the responses. It was wonderful to see so many people that sort of felt the same way and even shared some similar experiences and stuff like that. It was quite a big deal for me to talk a little bit more about those sort of things. It's not something that I do often, but yeah, wonderful, thanks very much. Now anyway, this week I've come to the west coast of Auckland again. It's somewhere that I've been meaning to come for a while, and we're finally, touch wood, because the forecast is good, but we're finally going to have a dry photography shoot. I can't believe it. So good stuff. Now I am headed to a location called Wharf, which is where we're going to spend the day. However, I'm about 20 minutes away at the minute, and I've stopped at this location here, which is called Cornwallis Wharf, and I've seen quite a few photographs of it, and it's just somewhere that I've wanted to come to for a while with my own camera and try and, you know, leave with my own take on the wharf and take a couple of my own photographs basically. So that's what I'm doing now. So yeah, it's a lovely little spot. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, but in a good way. It's really cool. So yeah, I'm just going to spend the next 5-10 minutes scouting around this little beach that we have here, and try and get a really nice perspective of the wharf, and maybe try a little long exposure as well, because we're still in the middle of the day. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so as I clamber up on this log like an absolute lunatic, I think I found a lovely little image. It's going to be nice, and I was wandering up and down the beach and feeling a little bit uninspired by the location, and I didn't want to take the same photograph as everyone else basically. But anyway, I think I've succeeded in not doing that. I found this wonderful huge piece of, probably a piece of driftwood. And I thought I should utilize it in my image because it's probably not going to be here forever, and it's just given me the opportunity to get something, you know, a little bit different from this area. So I've kind of jumped on that opportunity, and like I say, I think it's going to be a lovely little image. Now obviously this is a ridiculous setup up here on this piece of driftwood, but it looks wonderful through the viewfinder, and I've got my 6-stop ND filter on the front, which is giving me a shutter speed of 13 seconds, which is just making the image look nice and dreamy. It's smoothing out the water and giving that sort of milky effect, and it's become quite a simple composition. I'm just getting the sort of front end of this piece of driftwood here. I'm using my wide angle Tokina lens at 11mm, and I'm going to do a little bit of focus stacking, so I'm going to do one image and focus on the driftwood, and then another image, exactly the same composition, and focus off in the distance on the wharf, and then I'll blend them two images together so we get maximum focus from right in front of the lens to right in the background. So I think that's going to work nicely. Now, settings wise, I'm shooting at ISO 100, 13 seconds like I said, f18. I'm shooting at f18 so I can get that 13 second exposure time. 11 millimeters like I think I mentioned, and yeah, I think it's going to be a nice image to start the day. So welcome to the stunning Wharf beach. This is an absolutely amazing location, and I'm feeling really inspired now I'm here. There just seems to be compositions everywhere, and the light at this stage seems to be playing ball a little bit. Now if you're ever in Auckland or in this area, this is probably the beach on the western coast that I would recommend the most. The other ones are also very, very beautiful, but the thing with this one is it's quite quiet compared to the other ones, and there is a bit of a gravel road you've got to go down to get here, and it's pretty long and it's a little bit dodgy. It's about 5 or 6 kilometers long, and yeah, unless you've got like a 4x4, it can be a bit sketchy in areas. So I think that puts a lot of people off. So yeah, it's generally a lot more quiet here, and just coincidentally it is absolutely gorgeous here as well. So I'm excited to explore and see what subjects I can find, and yeah, feeling really inspired this evening, and fingers crossed as well we get a nice sunset. I've checked the forecast on, and I use an app called Windy, which if anyone's after a forecast app, it's top drawer. It's absolutely perfect for what I want as a landscape photographer. So definitely check that out if you're after one. But it's saying there's going to be quite a lot of high cloud and not much low cloud. And we're on the west coast, so looking out to the sea, all going well, we should get some beautiful colours in the sky and hopefully 1 or 2 nice sunset images as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's go and explore. Oh, so this is, I have to say, this is absolute perfection this evening as a landscape photographer. I've never ever felt this good out with my camera. I honestly really mean that. The light is perfect. The location is absolutely phenomenal. I've been here once, but I didn't come this far down the beach where I am now, and I wasn't really doing photography as well, so my eyes weren't really open to all of this beauty. This is absolutely insane. I cannot believe how beautiful this is. So, as I'm sure you can tell, I'm feeling massively inspired, also a little bit overwhelmed, so I need to try and slow it down a little bit, as you should in these situations. You don't want to run around and start snapping anything that you see with your camera, but things are good at this stage. So I'm going to use this beautiful sort of rock formation out here as my first subject, and everything's making the composition by itself. I don't have to do a lot, but I have found these beautiful sort of lines here in the sand, and there's not been anyone around here, so there's no footprints, so you know I need to be a bit careful where I stand as not to ruin the composition. But yeah, I'm going to get myself set up here, wander around in these lines and just try and find the best foreground, the most appealing foreground, and try and find lines that lead up nice and smoothly to the subject. So yeah, going to get my camera set up and try and make it work. Okay, so we're all set up for this image. Unfortunately, the light is not quite as nice as it was around about 15 minutes ago, but sunset's in about 45 minutes. So what I'm going to do is take this shot now, go off and explore a little bit more, and I may come back here and take pretty much the same shot again here and use it as my actual sunset image. So we'll wait and see. I guess I'll just play that by ear. The composition, like I said before, we've got these gorgeous leading lines here in the foreground that lead the eye up to this subject. And then in the background, we're even capturing a little bit of this peninsula here, which is actually giving the image a little bit of depth throughout. So that's fantastic. I am using my 6-stop filter again. It's not 100% necessary, but it is improving the image slightly. It's giving me an exposure time of around about 10 seconds at f11, ISO 100. And we've got this little bit of water here in front of the rock, in front of the subject, and it's just smoothing that out ever so slightly. And it is capturing a small bit of movement in the clouds as well. So it is definitely improving things gradually. So yeah, I'm going to take that shot now, see how it looks, and maybe we'll come back here in about 45 minutes time. Okay guys, so I decided that I didn't want to go back to that location where we just took that image. You know, if the sky lights up and we get some nice colours, I just thought, you know, I'd look for something different. And also the tide was actually on its way out, so all them lines, them beautiful lines that we had in the foreground, they just disappeared completely because they were like small little channels of water that were going out with the tide. So I honestly don't think that I could have bettered that image even if we had nicer light, to be honest with you. But yeah, I found this image. This is going to be my last one. And at the sort of back end of the beach away from the ocean at Wharf, there's all these beautiful sand dunes. So I decided to come up here and try and use one as a little bit of a vantage point. So to look down on the beach, we've got all these gorgeous little sort of tributaries that lead out into the ocean, and I just thought they'd be really nice leading lines. Now the light is pretty horrendous, to be honest. It kind of went the other way, so all the high clouds ended up not lighting up and actually just blocking all of the light, unfortunately. But I mean, we can't always have it all, and we have had a really good day actually of weather. It hasn't rained, so that's the main thing. That's all I cared about today. But let me talk you through this image anyway. I've swapped lenses, I should mention. I've got my 18-55 kit lens on the front, and I'm shooting at around about 30mm, so obviously I won't be able to do that on my wide angle. And it just compresses the image ever so slightly and just gives a much better effect, I think, here. It works much better. So I've got a little bit of the sand dunes here sort of going diagonally across in the foreground, which just adds a little bit to the image as well. And then, as I said, we've got these nice tributaries leading out into the beach and into the ocean, and then a few more of the rocks there in the background. I think it's an image that sums up Wharf pretty well. Little bit of a snapshot, but I mean the light's not perfect. My inspiration has gone down. It's been very up and down today, it's crazy. But pretty decent image all the same, I think. So here it is. Let me know what you think, guys. Right, so cheers for watching, guys. Much appreciated. Bit of a strange one this week. I think it's a stunning location, but I hope that this video has showed a little bit of the sort of ups and downs of a landscape photographer, the sort of emotions that we go through in the space of a few hours. It's crazy, but all in all, it's been a fantastic adventure, and what a location to explore, Wharf Beach. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. Hugely appreciated. Please do comment. I massively appreciate it. I love hearing from you guys as well. Thank you very much. Subscribe if you're new. There's a lot more to come. I shall see you next week, and out.